Hello friends! In the previous video of this series, we assembled the front panel of the Kenbak-1 computer. In this video, we'll be assembling the PCB. If you're interested in building your very own Kenbak-1, there's still PCBs available for sale at www.kalinchuk.com. There are also one or two more kits left. Because of the difficulty in compiling all the parts for the kits, I will not be making more of them. Let's get started. The Kenbak-1 computer had a single PCB with traces on both sides. Almost all of the components are mounted on the top of it. We'll start by installing the IC sockets. You can forgo the sockets, but they are highly recommended. When installing the sockets, refer to the PCB for socket orientation. Pin 1 of the IC has a square pad and all remaining pins are round. Install the sockets in such a way that pin 1 of the socket aligns with pin 1 of the IC on the PCB. Additionally, install an 8-position socket for each Intel 1404A register location. Be sure to double check the orientation of each IC before soldering them. Additionally, verify that all ICs have been installed by counting them. Then, flip over the board and solder the ICs. The IC should stay in place, but if not, tape them down with some masking tape. I like soldering 2 pins of each IC to tuck them in place before soldering the remaining pins. This part is time consuming, but take care to ensure all the pins are soldered well. Alright, the hard part is finished. The next step is to install the resistors. Refer to the parts list for the resistor designation. The PCB has a silk screen for each resistor, but if one is hard to read, refer to the parts layout sheet. Next, install the diodes. Refer to the parts layout sheet for the orientation of each diode. I had to drill a larger hole for the Zener dial due to the size of the leads. The capacitors can be installed next. Again, refer to the parts layout sheet for the electrolytic capacitor orientation. There are two mica capacitors which are installed underneath the PCB. I'm not 100% sure if these capacitors are required, but I went ahead and installed them anyway. We'll install the transistors next. The orientation of the transistors is important. In my case, I used transistors that were oriented a different way from the ones that were included in the kit. The kit uses 2N4401 and MPS3702 transistors, and they will be oriented in the other direction from the way I have them here. If you build your Kenbak-1 and it does not work, the first thing to check is the transistor orientation, and also verify that the timing works properly. With the transistors installed, we can install header pins for the front panel. These are optional, but if you're planning on installing them, you will need to drill out the holes to accommodate the header pins. A number 60 drill bit should do the trick. There is one jumper that needs to be installed. One way to install it in the correct location is to find it on the front of the PCB using the parts layout sheet and insert a piece of wire through each hole. Then turn the PCB upside down and install the jumper in place of the temporary wires installed in the previous step. Before we install all the ICs, let's first construct the caddy for the two Intel 44018 shift registers. We will insert the shift registers into the IC sockets so that we can remove them if necessary. Separate the pins of the shift register into two sections of 4 pins. The pin with a tab over it is pin 8, so be sure that it's on one side along with pins 5 through 7. While pins 1 through 4 are on the other side. We can then insert them into an 8-position dip socket so that pin 1 goes into the pin 1 position, pin 2 into position 2, and so on. You can solder the shift register to the IC socket holders optionally. Once finished, insert the two shift registers into their respective positions. To protect the shift registers from overheating, I'll use a small heatsink for each one. Finally, we can install the remaining ICs into the sockets. This is a long process, but be sure to take your time and ensure that correct IC is installed into each socket, and that the orientation is correct. This is important as I had to spend many hours hunting down a bug on the computer, which turned out to be an IC that was installed backwards. Use the parts layout sheet to determine the location and designation of each IC. We're finished. Wow, that took a while. As a final step, run through each IC and each component, making sure that it's the correct one and in the correct orientation. This investment in time will save you much more time later when trying to debug the computer. Alrighty, the PCB is finished. Thank you for watching this video, and in the next one we will assemble the case and install the PCB into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.